Hi, I'm Tony Dwyer. Welcome to my channel. I post videos about stuff that I find interesting. I hope you do too. Some of it's lampooning idiocy, some of it's just passing information on, some of it's just for fun. If you like what I do, click a like, maybe even subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. I'm not making any money out of this, trust me. It's not that hard, folks.
Many flat earthers say that the sun is local to us, very close indeed. Some say 3,000 miles. I've heard some quote less than 2,000 miles above our heads. That's ridiculous. The sun is 93 million miles from Earth, or more accurately, the Earth is 93 million miles from the sun, because we're orbiting the sun. We've measured the distance to the sun multiple ways, and they all agree. There is no close sun. It's 93 million miles away. To say otherwise is just being silly. The sun rises to the east of my house, that way, every morning, and it sets in the afternoon and evening in the west, which is that way. At the present time, early January 2024, the sun is rising to the east, slightly further north than we should be. As the days progress towards midsummer solstice, the days get longer and the sun rises progressively further to the south of east each day. Equally, in the evening, it sets slightly further to the north of west each day as the day gets longer. Every morning, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Every morning. At sunrise here, say at 6 a.m. in southeast Spain, I see the sun come up. My sister in Mexico, near San Diego, California, won't see it for several hours. On a flat Earth, if the sun was close to the Earth, like say 3,000 miles, as many flat earthers say, 3,000 miles above my head, my sister would see the sun at her time, at my time of 6 a.m. in her Mexican evening. That doesn't happen. She won't see the sun for some 9 hours after it's risen here. That can't happen on a flat Earth. On a flat Earth, if the sun was 3,000 miles above my head, it would be visible from everywhere on the surface of Earth. But it isn't. We have daytime and nighttime. We also have the progression of the seasons. I already mentioned the gradual lengthening of the days from the winter through to the summer solstice, and the other way around from the summer solstice to the winter solstice. That happens because the Earth is tilted on its axis in its orbit around the sun. In the northern hemisphere we get summer. Well, we have summer. The southern hemisphere, Australia and so on, have their winter. We get longer days in the summer, they get shorter days in the winter, and vice versa. In the Arctic, at winter, for quite some time, no sun at all. Similarly, in the Antarctic, no sun during the winter, lots of sun, 24 hours in some places, 24 hours of sunlight for the entire day, for a short period in midsummer in the southern hemisphere. That can't happen on a flat Earth, yet it happens on ours. Out on the open ocean on a calm day, the horizon is all the way around you. That's 360 degrees. Everywhere you look, we see it all the way around us. Don't see that on a flat Earth. When we see a ship at sea, particularly out on the open ocean on a flat calm day, and it's sailing away from us, it disappears from the bottom up until it disappears entirely over the horizon. Similarly, while sailing a boat on the open ocean towards land, as you approach land, it starts to become visible from the highest point of land first, then gradually rising in your view as you sail towards it. This is because the Earth is a sphere, not flat. That can't happen on a flat Earth. One of the things that flat earthers commonly say is that when something, a boat for example, is going over the horizon, you can zoom in with a long lens to bring it back into view. That is complete nonsense. It can't be done. Sometimes you get visual effects caused by mirage, where something will appear to be higher on the horizon than it actually is. But in normal, average, calm, clear conditions, it doesn't happen. You cannot zoom in through a planet, even with the magical P190 from Nikon. We have explored almost the entire surface of this planet. We know the distances between places. Absolutely, we know the distance between places. We can measure them in kilometers, yards, inches, miles, whatever, but we know what they are. Those distances can be plotted accurately on a globe, which represents the Earth. They cannot be plotted accurately on any notional flat Earth map that I've ever seen. Can't be done. For example, a lot of the flat Earth maps I see show South America and Australia being a great distance apart. No flat earther has ever been able to answer how we know the distance between Santiago and in Chile and Sydney in Australia, and how there are direct flights that don't match any observed distance from any flat Earth map I've ever seen or anybody has ever seen. Aircraft, commercial aircraft, fly on what are known as Great Circle routes around the world. Great Circle route is very simple. It's a line drawn, a notional line drawn on a globe between 2 points on the surface. That will be a straight line. But it's also curved because it curves with the Earth's surface. You can't do that on a flat Earth map. It can't happen with flat Earth. Continuing with the idea of navigation, what about GPS, Global Positioning System, which is worked through having a number of satellites flying around in orbit above the surface of the planet, which can triangulate the position of any device which can on the ground. So my GPS for my car and my boat, I can tell it to find the satellites. It finds the satellites and it gives me an exact location in terms of longitude and latitude. And with my car, it even gives me street names. It's really very, very simple. They work anywhere on the planet, except for in a cave maybe, or in a city with tall buildings which might block the satellite signals. GPS works. It's out there. That can't happen with a flat Earth. A different tack. Space. Flat Earthers commonly say space is fake, NASA's fake, anything to do with rocketry and sending things into orbit is fake because space doesn't exist. There's a big dome in the way over the top of our flat Earth. Well, that is complete nonsense. We can observe things in space. I've personally seen the ISS satellite go overhead many, many times. I watch the stars on a regular occasion. I see the moon every night practically. I watch the moon's phases. They change as the moon's position relative to the Earth changes as it orbits the Earth. We see planets, Mars, Neptune, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, Venus. We can plot all their orbits with astounding accuracy. And one of the funny things that happens is we get this effect called retrograde orbit, which happens due to the fact that Earth's orbit is inside the orbits of Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. When it passes them on the inside, they appear to go backwards in space. Retrograde orbits can't happen on a flat Earth. All the other planets we can observe, including their moons, and there are a lot out there, are spherical. Why should Earth be any different? It isn't. Space is real. It's out there. We can measure the distance between Earth and the Sun, Earth and the Moon, Earth and the inner planets, Earth and the outer planets by a variety of means, and they all agree with each other. Can't do that with a flat Earth. Continuing with space, how about eclipses? We can accurately predict to the second lunar and solar eclipses. We know how and why they happen. They happen because solar eclipses happen because the moon gets between Earth and the sun. It just so happens that at this point in Earth's history, viewed from the surface of the planet, the moon and the sun are close to the same size. Not exact, but close enough so that the moon can almost entirely occlude the sun in a total eclipse. Total eclipses can only be seen from a narrow track on the planet when the moon is in exactly the right position from the observer's point of view to the sun to occlude the sun. Lunar eclipses, on the other hand, can be seen by everybody over the entire planet on the visible side, because they're different. The lunar eclipse is caused by the Earth casting a shadow on the moon, and that shadow is visible to everybody on the planet. That can't happen on a flat Earth, or can it? More on space-ish. I've got a satellite TV system. Well, actually I've got two, but one big dish with two LMBs on it. My dish is 1.9 meters across and it's on the roof, just up there, directly above my head. It's pointing at the Astra 2C satellite, which is 25,000 miles approximately up in equatorial orbit, a geostationary equatorial orbit over Earth. So the satellite always stays in one position relative to the surface of the Earth. I'm able to pick up TV signals from England. I'm in southeast Spain. That's quite a way away. The dish is pointed up into space. It is a highly directional system. There are no local TV transmission antenna anywhere near me. Yet I can pick up British TV. I can pick up German TV. I can pick up TV from Turkey. How is that possible on a flat Earth? Somebody will say, oh, it's all local transmitters. No. Parabolic dish antenna are highly directional. If I get the dish 1 degree off from the satellite, I don't see anything. Satellite TV can't happen on a flat Earth. Can it? How about gravity? How does gravity work on a flat Earth? Gravity is the effect we see because masses attract each other. Earth is a big mass. It attracts us. Don't ask me to explain the detail of how gravity works. All I know is it does work. Big Earth, me small, I get attracted to the ground. Yep. How does that work on a flat Earth? Many flat earthers deny gravity. Some of them come up with the idea of it being buoyancy, which is complete nonsense. The buoyancy equation actually has gravity in it. Trust me, I'm a diver, I know about buoyancy. Also, I drive a boat. That's buoyant too. It needs gravity to hold it on the surface of the water. The buoyancy stops it sinking. How does that work on a flat Earth? They can't tell me. Let's talk about rockets for a moment. Rockets and satellites. Many flat earthers say that there's a dome over the surface of the planet and anything fired up into space will run into the dome and be destroyed. It can't get into space because space doesn't exist. Well, that's utter nonsense. Rockets don't go straight up to put things in orbit. They go up at an angle until the satellite is delivered into orbit parallel to the surface of the Earth, where it continues in orbit, complying with Newton's first law of motion. Body in motion will remain in motion unless acted upon by an external force. Flat earthers commonly also say that rockets can't work in space. Again, that is nonsense. Space is a vacuum. Oh, they say. You say that space is a vacuum. There's nothing for the rocket to push against. The rocket doesn't push against anything outside the rocket pushes against itself. Action and reaction are equal and opposite. As the rocket expels exhaust at very, very high velocity out the nozzle at the back, an equal force is pushing the rocket forward. That's how rockets work. You can try the little experiment yourself by getting into a small boat, standing on the back, holding a big rock, and throwing it off the back of the boat. I will predict what will happen. The boat will move forward with you in it. You may fall in the water, but the boat will move forward. Try it. It works.